What's up, everybody? My name is Mal. I'm here with my partner, John, and momentarily we are going to be joined by the team behind Mishka, one of the biggest streetwear brands in the world, who is launching an NFT on the network. John, how are you?
I'm doing good, brother. Thanks for having me on today.
Of course, we've got a lot of moving parts. We're
Yep.
going to Miami tomorrow. We got our press badges.
hmm
Uh, Part of Mishka is going to be out there tomorrow for Art Basel. And we got a lot of stuff going on right now. It's crazy.
Dude, how awesome is that a couple of NFT guys are going to be showing up as press at arguably one of the largest art shows. It's
Hell
freaking
yeah.
crazy, huh?
It's so crazy. It's so affirmational when you think of like
Yep.
when we started NFT culture a little bit over a year ago, like to be where we are now and to be like, oh yeah, here your press at Art Basel, like it's affirmation to the vision. Like we don't want to be pumpers and promoters, and there's a place for that, and that's good. But we want to talk to like the awesome people and have great conversations. And
Mhm.
the fact that we get to go and ask the tough questions at Art Basel is just truly awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, it should be awesome this evening, man.
I
Really,
can't wait.
really interested to hear about this collaboration with Network and more
Hell
details
yes.
on it.
Well, let's bring them in. What's up, everyone?
What's
What's up,
up?
Greg? What's up, Mike?
Yo, what's good?
We are live, and y'all. Greg is in Miami already, so pardon the background noise. He had to hop in here, and we are super thankful for both of y'all to be able to join us tonight. And just the fact that I've talked about this lots of times that like Mishka or the network was one of my big onboarding to just being passionate about streetwear and Takashi Murakami and like everything that like I loved. I'm a big sneakerhead. I love Yeezys in particular. Everyone sees my Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I bought my Takashi Murakami from the network, and then finding out that the network was going into NFTs, and now the Mishka drop that is coming soon. I was like, all right, we gotta get these guys on. So you guys are launching an NFT, your successful streetwear brand, 50,000 followers on Twitter. Give us a little bit of background.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I got
Yeah.
you.
Everything sounds really slow. I don't know if it must be my side because it sounds like demon voice.
That's
You're
just
coming in
me.
clear. Yeah.
Is that the scissor that you're on?
Is it supposed to be like that or no?
No.
No. But you're coming in clear. So
It
just
sounds
let it
like
roll.
all slowed down and like reverse, like I'm playing like a Beatles record backwards.
Whoa.
It's the DJ
What should I
Screw
do?
edition.
We'll let Mike set the stage. Mike, tell us about Mishka.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So the brand was founded in 2003 by Greg and his partner Mike. Since then, it's like we've just been trying to like just kind of like it's just a brand that like really focuses on like the art's always been important to Mishka and just staying true and not worrying about maybe what trends are happening, but just what we've always kind of like believed in. And we're still here today. So I think it's kind of working out.
So you guys, Mal, you mentioned that it's at 50,000 followers on Twitter. Is that right, Mal?
Yeah, I mean, like when you think about streetwear brands and you think about like what they do and kind of where they're at, like this is one of the prominent brands in the world. And when you think about like their ability to do like awesome things, and Mike's just being incredibly modest. And we talked off screen about um, what what his he doesn't want to pump too much, but I'll do it for him. Like Mishka and like they've been around forever, and just the fact that they're partnering right now with the network to be able to do this generative drop and do these new things is like incredibly exciting. And so when you think about like NFTs and we talked about this off air, like what's really interesting for me is like there's two disparate types of people, right? There's the people that are crypto native, and the network has they're in the middle of this, and I think Mishka can do a really good job, just like Atom Bombs did earlier. Is like when you think about these two colliding worlds, and we think about the future of NFTs, right? Eventually, NFTs are going to be mainstream. The Matrix NFTs launched today, right? Like, there's all these crazy things going on, and I believe that my kids, I say this all the time, where like my kid buys a Fortnite skin and he doesn't own it, and if Fortnite goes away, we lose that money. But in the future, like digital ownership is going to be here to stay. It's permanent. It's one of the most important things that people have, and so we have crypto native people who are comfortable with DeFi and all these crazy concepts, and they flip NFTs all day. And then we have streetwear, and we have the sneakerheads, the Supreme, like Mishka, like all these things. I mean, shout out to Virgil, rest in peace. Like, there's so many things that exist here, and the cultures between both of those are very, very similar. Mm-hmm. And their values and their shared excitement is very similar, but the overlap is like very little. There is a little bit that has happened from that, but then when you think about like what network can do, the network can do is like the network's done good at bringing in like brands like Mishka and Bad Boy and everyone else, but like then you also think about how do we bring in the crypto native folks. I think that this is a unique position that we're in, that we can now onboard the streetwear, sneakerheads, etc., onto NFTs, and we can simultaneously onboard the NFT folks into kind of the hype beast, high sobriety type of culture, and that's incredibly exciting. And that's like when I saw this drop, when I saw this brand, I was like, oh, this is like the start of like, this is the gunshot, like in a horse race that starts everything, where in 2022 everything is NFTs.
So Mel, I've been a little bit out of the loop. Maybe Greg or Mike can fill me in on what's going on with Mishka and the network. Like, give me details about the drop. Give me some background there.
I'm back. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I thought it'd be a good idea to come to Miami, and all of a sudden everyone started to sound like a demon. Yeah, first of all, thanks for having us. Really appreciate taking the time to talk to us. We're really excited about the project. So just a little bit of background. We started working with Network maybe I guess almost 2 years ago now. We had been friendly with them, like just through the industry, and we actually, it's the main relationship that started because we had gotten our relationship with we had done some stuff with Metacom years ago, and we had been working on some bear bricks, which was big for us because we really hadn't done our own bear bricks, and bear bricks had started becoming popular again in the culture, kind of like a resurgence. So we started working with Network to showcase certain projects like that, because we had decided that we wanted to go direct to consumer. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, we sort of saw retail was kind of going a weird way. And we also wanted to talk, and this is kind of going to segue into the, sort of NFT space, is like, because of the way the brand is, like, we had been trying it a lot of times, like, oh, maybe it'd be a good idea to sell it like a Zoomies or something, or a bigger store. And really, the brand just got lost in the mix. And, we realized that it's better just to kind of build, to continue to build the community that we had, and really just work directly with the customer. And, have that be through our website, have that be through social media. And, once we really started doing that, we actually started to create a sustainable business that was just, basically controlled by our fans, and then, the new people getting turned on to the brand. And, definitely using Network as a great springboard, because, network, because of the people that are involved in it, they have such a rich history of working with, so many artists and designers and creatives, that the fact that we were able to sit by a lot of the same projects, really put Mishka in a good position. And, especially now in a day where, the brand's almost 18 years old. So, we've seen the kind of ups and downs of streetwear and the culture and where things have gone. And so, we've had to kind of be creative. And so network allowed to give us a platform for a lot more people to see us. And when we had decided that we wanted to do this, generative project, we were, Mike and I had been involved, a little, we had been involved in crypto for, probably like 5 years, past 5 years, but just more kind of like dabbling. Like we were just, we were just kind of like learning about it, buying, sort of buying and trading coins. And we minted a few NFTs in February, but we weren't really sure. I think a lot of thing about Mishka is like, the reason that we've survived and the reason I think we have respect in the community is like, we've always strived to be authentic and to be real, and to everything that we do is like a true representation of who we are, and, kind of the lifestyle we lead, and the way that we want to present ourselves in the art and everything else. So I think once we started to wrap our head around, that, and become more familiar with the, NFT community. And then, honestly, also seeing like projects like the Atom Bomb Squad, or Pink Dolphins Rare Ghost Club, where it's kind of like, like you said, it's this, like, how do you bridge the worlds, right? And I think the thing for us that really helped me really bridge the world was I was like, everyone kept telling me about, how much NFT was community based, and I really started to see that, and I'm like, well, that's what Mishka is. I mean, we're like, without our community, we'd be nothing, and so, network with their platform, I mean, really acted as like, we're creatives, but we don't know the technical side, right? Like we're kind of learning that, we're learning what DeFi's are and DAOs and the kind of lingo and and it's so, I mean, the whole concept, right, of sort of cryptocurrency and the metaverse and the blockchain, it's really revolutionary, right? And so it's so much bigger than I think people, I mean, not you guys or people, but I think it's like, like you said, it's not mainstream, and I don't think people are going to realize what it really means for years to come. So, I'm really, like you said, I'm really excited to bring, but sorry enough, I'm going off, but I also, I just went to this event here. I think it was called DecentralCon.
Yep.
And it kind of reminded me of early streetwear days where, you have all these different brands and projects. You have like one person, selling like a backpack that could show your NFTs. You had some of the obviously people that have been in the scene like Rarible and Polygon and Wax, and then you had like these other like sort of smaller projects that are trying to push themselves out there. And one thing that I've been noticing is like, I think a lot of these guys are aware that they're building a brand and they're looking on, okay, how do we continue this momentum? How do we figure out the longevity? And that's stuff that obviously we've already have gone through. And so I'm also excited. I think another thing about entering the space that's cool is that I'm hoping that we can also show other people how you can turn like your passion for art and your passion to be creative into something that isn't just like a fad, isn't just something that's gonna, because that's the thing, right? Is like I feel like people are very passionate and they want this to succeed. And the other thing I've noticed is that a lot of these projects, they want to make clothes. There was a lot of clothing too, which was, I was like, really, I mean, I'm not as surprised with it just from the different, clubhouses or groups that I'm in, but there were so many people there that like, oh, we can turn your NFTs into this stuff, or, just saying, oh yeah, the next thing we want to do is we want to make merch, we want to make clothing. And I think that's definitely an exciting part of the space. Sorry, I kind of,
No, you're
answer,
spot
but
on. Like, there's a lot to unpack there, but like, first and foremost, like what you ended with was pride. Like, I'm proud, like, to wear my Bored Ape Yacht Club hoodie. Right, I'm part of a club that I joined very early on, and like, even today, like, I freaked out because I spent 2 ETH on Takashi Murakami with Artifact. Like, I was like, at 3 ETH, I can't do it. But it fell to 2 ETH, and I was willing to gamble because, like, it's Takashi Murakami doing his first NFT. Yes, he put a bunch up on OpenSea, but he never sold them. So, like, for me, it was like that. And so, like, when you think about pride and you think about streetwear and you think about Mishka and all of that, like, it's really exciting. And like, one of the things that's interesting is about like the relationships that, like, it's not if but when. And for me, like, the relationships that y'all are forming, it's like, yes, y'all are doing a big drop and the art is amazing. I'm gonna pull it back up in a minute, but it's also like 3 years from now. So when we all joined the space with NFT culture, it was like 50,000 people, and now it's like 700,000 people, and that's less than a year. And so if you moderately amplify that, you add in Vivi, you add in Nifties with the Matrix drop, like you add in the Macy's Day Parade with the free NFTs, you add in like all these things, like a year from now, it's gonna be crazy. And no one realizes, like, everyone's just waiting for the top. And it's like, no, like, the whole world is going to do this because it's digital ownership. And just like physical ownership, there's going to be digital ownership, and we've never had that before. And so one of the things that I really love about y'all's project in particular is like the immediate perks that come with this project are like, if you own one of these NFTs, you automatically get a discount. And Gary Vee talked about this early. It's like, imagine 5 years from now, when a pizza shop owner says, "I'm going to create 1,000 NFTs in my whole life, and I'm going to sell them to my neighborhood or give them away to my neighborhood." And then when people leave the neighborhood, they can sell that. But that pizza NFT gives them a lifetime discount on the pizza. So like, now you have the supply and demand. And so y'all's methodology here is like really exciting in terms of like what you're trying to do and what you're trying to deliver on. Like, it's really cool that you're checking all the boxes, right? Successful streetwear brand, partnering with a known industry mover in the network who's worked with top artists that have ever lived in the history of our planet, and you're delivering utility. I'm curious if like, how did you come up with this? And Mike, you and I talked offline. You were the originator of kind of the eyeball, and it looks like the eyeball has a few pieces in this drop, or it's a big piece of what you guys are going to be delivering. So can you provide some perspective on kind of where your thought process was and how you were able to come up with the different ideas and how much uniqueness is going to be going into this?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll go back to the beginning of the year, and I think Greg might have touched on it, but like, we minted a few things early, like, I don't know, February, March, and it was just kind of like we were just trying to figure it out, like, how it fit within the brand, and what we could bring just to the NFT market. And as time went on, and obviously, like everyone saw the atom bomb success, and I think that kind of was like when we realized it's like, okay, like we're almost like thinking too small and maybe like too literal in terms of like just putting art out as a print, but without the utility. And once we kind of wrapped our heads around that, the idea, like the eyeball was like, okay, that's what we need to do. That's, the eyeball is like the gateway to the brand. And, when Greg was talking earlier about, going direct to customer, one thing I've seen too is like, you can go into the Shopify backend and kind of just see all these metrics, and like our eyeball, like if we do it on a shower curtain or something, like the majority of the customers are first time people. So it's sort of like this thing where like we realize it's like how iconic the eyeball is, and generationally like kind of where we fit in as like a torch carrier of it. And so yeah, like we wanted to like focus on that, and then to take it one step further, I always kind of had this, in a lot of ways, it's like to what you were saying about like the board, like having a Bored Ape hoodie or whatever. Like if you had an eyeball in your hat or your jacket, if you were on the train with somebody else in New York, it's like it was kind of like this like low key kind of thing where you were like, oh, cool, like what's up. And
it's the meat space social proof.
For the first time, we were like, we could offer every one of our fans and community like essentially like their own unique eyeball, which logistically would have never been possible to do like a one of a kind hat for every single customer. This really flips that. And then for us, it was like, well, how do we make these feel really special? And as you can see in the art, it's just like we just kind of really went in on all these traits that just like give it just like this personality of its own. And hopefully the intention is that like each one like really feels like its own unique thing. And there will be some that are just more or less the eyeball, and I think a lot of people will like that. It's classic. But we just really wanted to bring him to life as just sort of like this gatekeeper into like the bigger world of Mishka that we're calling the Mishka verse.
I love it. I have a quick question. I know John might have a couple follow-up questions, but like, have you all considered any potential where, like, obviously it's a successful brand, it's known, but are you going to have holders exclusive drops, right? So like you have to hold this NFT to be able to buy certain hoodies, to do like the ultimate exclusivity, right? It's like the Amex black card, right? Like you have to be a part of the club, and then you add that. And like the counterpoint there is like, are you excluding a part of your audience by doing that? But I think like the sneakerheads and everyone who understands that is like, there are tiers, there's luck, there's waiting in line, there's all those things. I'm curious like what your vision is like to make this NFT not just valuable today, but to make this NFT valuable down the road. The discount's awesome, right? Like the fact that if I own this NFT, I get a discount is really, really cool. But when you think about the future value, where are you guys thinking about the community, long-term value, et cetera?
Well, yeah, I think, can you guys still hear me okay? Sorry about that. I'm just kind of moving around. Yeah, so that's definitely something we considered. I think that it's hard. It's hard to like say because you almost like have to believe us. But like what I'm thinking for the future is like this is just the start. So the idea is, right, like if you believe in us and you believe in the brand and you are one of the, and you are part of this project, like hell yeah, you are gonna see things that as like, I don't even know the term, the first adopter, or like the first the first person to get into the Keep Watch crew. I mean, we're definitely going to have things that are exclusive. I mean, something that, I mean, I shouldn't, something like for instance, right? Like we've been talking about, doing like this, like we had been talking for a little while. This was even before this, about doing like this sick ass, like a varsity jacket, because we used to do varsity jackets, like we used to do some like almost every season. And I remember we had a meeting like a couple weeks ago. We're like, dude, like this is the project where like we make the fucking Keep Watch crew jacket that you can only get if you're a holder, right? So we definitely want there to be those pieces that it's like you cannot get it unless you are part of the Keep Watch crew and you're a holder, right? And I think that that's really important. I mean, obviously that's, like you were talking about earlier about sort of the sneaker culture and limited edition. Like, it's like you have to have that, like, because there's plenty. Like, we're not going to stop making clothing, right? We're not going to stop making like eyeball hats. So if there's that Mishka customer, or there's even that new customer that wants to come in and buy something, like that's available. But this is going to be something completely different. And then, the goal is to be continuing to do more projects and other projects and building on this project that, the perks for getting in early, whether it's like exclusive merch or airdrops or, being able to be, like whitelisted for future projects. I mean, those are all things that we're considering and that we want to do, because we know that not only is that something that's, important for us, but, like you said, like, I think it's also something important for the NFT community. And I think also by having control of like what we do, we're able to do that, because, right now it's, you're not necessarily going to get, a lot of coverage on like a Hype Beast or something like that unless you're paying them, right? But if like our community is supporting us, then we can directly support them. And it's like, there's no, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's like, that's one thing I love about it, is like, I don't need somebody else to fucking say that it's cool, right? Because the people that are involved not only know it's cool, they're also going to know that by being part of the Keep Watch crew, they're going to be getting things that other people can't get. And it's just the way it fucking is. It's not going to be a thing where we're like excluding people, because, it's like, trust me, like, I've been through a range of emotions with this, where some people are like, you guys are going to kill it. And then other people are like, oh, you shouldn't have did 10,000. Like, all these other, nobody can sell 10,000 right now. That's something, you guys are going to have to cut it down. And, obviously it's like, I don't know. I'm thinking bigger picture, but it's like, to me, it's like,
let me help. Like, there's three things, right? First off, number one, like, fuck them. Like, if they, like, they don't know shit. Like, anyone, like, and yes, there are times where, like, for instance, Top Dog Beach Club, I advised them to do fewer than 10,000 drops, and I regret it, because like they could have sold out 10,000 drops. The problem is, like, there's two things, and they're two contradictory ideas. First off, DeFi, right? Like, direct access to your consumer. Awesome. Like, that's incredible. That's the most important thing that you can have. And when we think about authenticity and accountability, that is awesome. Number two, if it takes a week to sell out, who cares? 2 weeks to sell out, who cares? We are so early. There's 600,000 people that have ever transacted on OpenSea. 600,000 people. Not 6 billion, not 600,000, not 6 million. The population of Dallas, 600,000. We are so early. And then you look at the rankings of your website. I looked up your Alexa rankings just now. Like, I have an idea from my SEO background, like the amount of traffic that you're driving every single day. So like, there's multiple things. It's like, one, we're early. Number two, you're a doxed team. Number 3, you have a history of providing value on what you're going to deliver. Number 4, you have surprises. Number 5, you're offering discounts. Like there's so much here, and I don't mean to be a hype person, but I just sit here and I'm like there's two things. Like there's people that like may or may not be Mishka fans. Cool. If you're not, that's fine. But I can tell by your website and everything else, your daily traffic, like there are enough Mishka fans to support a 10K sellout. Eventually, 100% of those Mishka fans times 100 are going to own NFTs. And so like this false pretense that we put on ourselves to say like, if I have a 10K project and it doesn't sell in 5 minutes, I'm a failure. What the hell is that? We are so early. Like, F the haters, F them. It's a successful brand. This is the future. They can all go to hell.
You know, and oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, Greg, I think you nailed it also with what you said. Just to piggyback, like Vitalik Buterin said this before. It's like if Apple and Windows, when you bought their products, you get a share in their product. The people get louder and louder and louder in how they promote because they're like financially tied to these companies actually doing well. And that's what happens. Like the people buy the NFTs and now they're a part of the community. They have physical ownership of something that they could probably sell later on. And as that brand grows, you know, the value of that NFT grows. And so now you have, just like you said, you have people that want to promote your product because they have vested interest. They're part of a community. They have a tangible connection to it. So yeah, I mean, you guys might not sell it immediately, but I can guarantee you the people that buy in the first couple of days, now they go out and they start telling their buddies, hey, like this is awesome. Look what I can do. I get discounts on this. And all of a sudden it just organically starts growing because they have a vested interest to make it grow.
Yeah. And you know, and I also have to be like I think our stuff is awesome, you know? So I mean, my hope too, right, is that this is a whole other community that I think it's like, they obviously appreciate art, right? And they obviously, you know, I think there's a lot of crossover, especially like when it comes to like, just even how, you know, like people wanting to, you know, I mean, streetwear is mainstream, right? And, you know, like, again, rest in peace to Virgil, but, you know, Virgil is part of that. Virgil is part of bringing that, you know, bringing streetwear into high fashion and then into the mainstream and doing it in a way where, you know, you're not necessarily, you know, like you can sort of dress the way you want and you can really use fashion to express the way you feel, and you don't have to feel like, you know, sort of pigeonholed. You know, one of our mottos has always been like, wear your weird, right? Like we have always been championing the person who is the weirdo who doesn't fit in. And not to say that everybody, you know, everybody that supports Mishka feels that way, but, you know, we want to give an outlet to people, you know, that, you know, I think just, you know, I mean, obviously, right? Like we're not all wearing suit and ties, you know, it's like our uniform is different than, you know, maybe the generations before us, or another generation, but doesn't mean that we have to, you know, that a certain look has to express that, you know, you don't know anything about business, or you don't know anything about success, or whatever you want to say. So, you know, like for me, it's like, I just really want to have fun. And I think that we're trying to do the best that we can do. Like, you know, I think Mike is being a little modest. Like, I think like he really fucking, sorry if I concur. Like, I think he kicked ass with the art. Like he, like, you know, when I was like, dude, I want to do this, you know, Mike like went through the history, right? Like he just went through all the archives and we looked at everything. And so, you know, we had like hundreds and hundreds of different colorways of the eye. And we're like, okay, it has to be more than just this eyeball. Like we have to make it fun. And because, you know, like the NFTs I feel like that are popular, like Bored Ape and, you know, Bored Ape especially, I mean, they're fucking fun, right? And that's why there's so many people like ripping it off and trying to copy it, because it is so fun and unique. But I also think the same thing for ours, and I think that was something that we, you know, wanted to do, was make it fun, make it so that like not only does it look cool, but like, I mean, some of them are really funny in my opinion. And then not to mention, you know, the fact that we took all the backgrounds that we had done for like, you know, bags and button ups and different fabrics, and then even some other backgrounds that we had that we hadn't even used, or, you know, were part of the canon, but just like never had been used in this way. So yeah, like, look, like, you know, we're super excited. You know, I wanted to, we haven't announced a date yet. So I wanted to just let everyone know that I was told we can announce the date. We're going to do the whitelist on the 15th, and then the public mint will be on the 16th of December. So it's really soon. I also want to say that we're going to have 6 different artists doing one-offs that will be written, that would be part of the contract. So they're going to be, you know, if we do 10,000, you know, 9,904 will be randomly generated, and then 6 of them are actually going to be done by artists that we've worked with, a couple that we haven't. The one that is Buff Monster. Obviously, I mean, we've been friends with Buff for years. He painted a mural in our Japan store. He's obviously been crushing it in the NFT community. And, you know, I mean, he makes like these drippy, you know, ice cream eyeballs. So it's like a, you know, it's like obviously like a match made in heaven. And so that's even another thing, is we're almost using those artists kind of as a bit of a, like a fun, like almost lottery ticket, right? So, you know, you're going to have the chance to potentially mint a one-of-one Buff Monster piece, and you know, some other very well-known artists that, you know, you're going to be able to buy for, you know, the whatever, you know, I mean, I'm not allowed to say it, but you could probably imagine what the mint price will be. So, you know, it's like, so, you know, some people are going to really have something that's, you know, either they're going to want to keep, or they're going to be able to flip and probably do really well on. And so that's fun to me too, because as a collector, and even, you know, Mike, like, we're both crazy collectors, right? And we run the gamut, right? Like, we buy shit that we like, we buy shit, and then we buy shit that we flip immediately, and we buy shit that we hold on to for years. You know, like, we have comics that we buy for $100 that are now worth $10,000, or, you know, once in a while, like, we spend $8,000 on the comic. So, you know, it's funny because at first I was like, how the fuck is somebody going to spend like this much money on like, you know, on an NFT? And then like, I'm like, well, duh, like, because I do the same fucking thing. It's just that I'm just not used
also,
to like
what Mal was saying earlier, it's like, dude, you're like speaking in ETH, which is like something that like I see within the community. But like, dude, if I told my dad, like, yeah, I just spent 2 ETH, he'd be like, what? He'd be like, what's an ETH? And I'd be like, oh, about $4,000. And then he would probably be like, what? But yeah, it's like it kind of abstracts the value of things in a weird way, but it doesn't. But if you were buying ETH at 800 or 40, it's like, you know, what you have, you know, it's like, yes, it's like you could liquidate it for cash, but like you could easily throw around a couple and be like, yo, this is like a couple $100 worth of ETH to me. It's good and bad.
Well, I think the thing about crypto
like
too, but it's also, crypto is creating this like wealth for people that like some people could have never even imagined would have existed, right? So you're being put in a situation too where you can, like, you know, you might buy something, or you might buy something for 0.1 ETH that ends up being worth 1 ETH like a day, a week later, but you like it so much that it's not worth it for you to sell it, And I think that's another amazing part of it too, is just like, you're being able to buy shit that you actually like and enjoy. And I think once this is just the beginning of a whole new economy, right? It's a whole new world of understanding. And I think once, it's crazy. I mean, I was talking to just my friend Elle, who's painting here, and saying how she was saying how one of her friends was saying how they're not going to paint murals anymore. They're only going to if someone wants a mural, they're going to sell an NFT, and then the NFT will come with a finished mural. And I'm like, that's really smart, because it's like, if you ask somebody to pay you $50,000 for a mural, they might be like, oh, I don't know. But if you're like, okay, how about 10 ETH? Then they're like, okay.
Well, and it's the permanence, right? Like that's a lot of, what Mike was alluding to. It's like simultaneous, like two different things. Like, and I don't want to take us down this tangent, but I'm gonna take us down this tangent.
But he will.
And I can't wait,
for it.
Greg. If you drink, we're having a drink tomorrow. I'm gonna find you, and we're gonna have a beverage. John and I arrive around noon, but it's really interesting, to think about the ideas, and this is the thing people don't understand is passion, and authenticity is paramount with NFTs and in streetwear. And when you think about the thing about the murals, it's Greg Mike, for instance, got eviscerated on Nifty Gateway. Greg Mike is one of the greatest artists in a very, very, very long time in what he does. And it's if he were to just do the murals and just do that stuff and then make it an NFT, it's amazing and it's perfect. It's you create immediacy of the experience. It's like personalized POAPs, right? The proof of attendance protocol. There's so many different things that happen there. And I just can't wait to see and this is my biggest thing. I have the very first Predator versus Aliens comic as well. And I bought it when I was super young, and it's awesome, and I own it, and it's the coolest fungible item or non-digital item I own. But when you think about all the things that happen with NFTs, and I talk about this way too much, so I'll go very quickly. It's we talk about everything as an NFT: access to streetwear, art, music, videos, PFP pictures, comics. All these are NFTs, but in the real world, we call them comics, baseball cards, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, art, LP. We call them what they are. And we're in this unique space right now, hoodies. We call it all NFTs. And so when you think about how early we are, it's awesome that a brand like Mishka is willing to take the risk, and it's not a risk. It's inevitably it's going to be incredible, but it's also you're forcing the conversation, right? And so there's the optics, risk, short term, to say okay, does society say my 10K sells out? And then there's oh, cool, you get to tell your hundreds of thousands of website visitors a month about NFTs. They may not buy it today, but they're going to trust Mishka, and they're going to trust that eventually when they do come into NFTs, Mishka told them first. You may not be their first NFT. And so you're being an ambassador to this space. And this is the most important thing that I want to hit home on, that people don't think about, is and this is why we got away from alpha and all that stuff. If I'm pumping an NFT so that I can sell it for a profit, and tomorrow someone else has to sell it for a loss, they're never going to buy an NFT again. And if they do, it's going to be a very long time. And this is why I love brands like Mishka. This is why I love brands like The Network. It's building stuff to onboard people, because it's so logical to do what we're doing. And it just insults me, and I'm getting mad, I'm getting angry, but it's y'all have the right viewpoint, and you're offering authenticity, you're offering access, you're doing all this stuff. This isn't an alpha leak and hashtag buy now, pump it and dump it. This is hey, we're a brand, we've been around for 18 damn years, and we're doing an NFT. And by the way, if you think we're going to be around for another 18 years, it's probably a good idea to pick it up now. That's all I can say about that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, right, man? Because like we're like, I mean, we're not stopping. So it only takes one little thing, and then I mean, I'm not trying to say like like trying to get like all FOMO or whatever, but like there's definitely that aspect, but there's also like sorry, I kind of like had a brain fart. Oh yeah, the thing that like, and I I know that I should. This is the hard thing, right? Because I'm supposed to be like pushing. But the thing that I'm really excited about, and our team is really excited about, and I don't know if you spoke on this, Mike, or if you guys talked about it earlier. Is like one thing that we've been continually doing are these artist spotlights, right? So almost like at least once a month, we work with an artist, and most of the time, we're constantly, and we have a history of working with, up and coming artists and giving a platform for artists that are fucking like sick, but like they only have like 1,000 followers, or they're nobody really knows who they are. So we love using our platform to uplift an artist, because like, for us to see an artist succeed is like, that shit fucking, that makes me happy, right? Like, I love to see artists succeed. I love to see, and I love to be part of it, not because like it makes me feel cooler, but it's just like, fuck, man, like that feels like I'm doing something real. Like I was able to create this platform that people, and when I say the platform, like, the brand, and not only give people like, oh fuck, I did a collab with Mishka, but then all of a sudden more eyes are seeing their art. And the thing that I'm the most excited about, and like I'm ready to do it now, except we're trying to like get this project out, is like, we're gonna immediately start bringing these artist series into the NFT world, into the NFT community, into the Mishkaverse. And we're not quite sure yet, but like, we're probably going to do something where, we have these artists do, what we usually do is we'll hit up an artist and we'll say like, give us 3 designs, or give us, and hopefully all 3 of those are good, but maybe 1 or 2 are good. But then we've been talking to some of our artists, and we're like, hey, what do you think about turning your art that you did for t-shirts and NFTs? And they're like, that would be awesome. I've been really wanting to get into that space. And so I'm excited to be able to like onboard artists into the space, and then hopefully they can grow, and then they can build their own community, and they can be successful as an artist. And I don't know, that, I know it sounds cheesy, but that's what really makes me happy. And
No.
Well,
like,
Greg, if I can piggyback on that too, like, one thing we've realized with this is that for the first time, there's like a broad world of artists out there that are doing stuff that like you can't put on a shirt because it's video or it's 3D or whatever. And like, if we can partner with these people and do stuff that fits within like, the Misha universe, and it's like, yeah, maybe something's just like a static image on a shirt, but like for the first time, it's like, yeah, you could have like a 10-second loop or whatever that was like an eyeball exploding into a skull, whatever it is. It's like, this gives us the opportunity to like explore that as well.
I couldn't agree more. And I have an artist I want to throw y'all's way. And like that's the other thing, like for me, is that like and this sounds silly, but it's one of those things, like at least once a week I find an artist that has like below 300 followers on Twitter, and they're talking about NFTs. And like, what's really awesome about like what we do with NFT culture, and this is what you guys do here, is like, I get to make someone's day. Like, I get to retweet their art, and I get to broadcast that to thousands of people. And maybe someone buys it, maybe they don't. But you know what? Like, that person gets to have, like, to say like, oh, I got retweeted, or I got this, or I got that. And like that's the stuff that gets lost. It's like, why can't we just do little things for people that like can make their lives better? And I don't have to go spend 7 ETH on something to do that. Like I have a platform, John has a platform, we all have a platform, and we can just do little things together to bring joy. And like that's what really excites me. Like whenever like the artists that you work with and the backstory between Mishka and what Mike and Greg y'all have done together and not done together and come back together and everything else, that sounds like it's awesome that like we can have this. And for me, like these are the things that I just get incredibly excited about, because like I love storytelling, I love authenticity, I love high quality art, I love that art that tells a story, and like it checks all the boxes. And so for me, like these types of projects just really get me going. And I'm shocked and honored that y'all would join us today on this little adventure that we're going on. And I hope we get to enjoy some time together in Miami. Any final thoughts?
No, I'll just say likewise, man. I think I caught some of your guys' Twitter spaces before I even knew that we were going to be, like even the idea of working together. So, I mean, don't, it's like, I'm honored, we're honored that you guys want to push us, because, it really, really appreciate the love. And, it's like, obviously we're both very passionate, and, especially like, the idea of, one thing I was going to add to what you said about the artist, not only can a retweet make someone's day, but I mean, let's be real, like, making an art, like helping an artist make money is also amazing, especially if they want to be a working artist. And I also like the idea of that, like, you can really more than ever make a living as an artist, and you don't have and you don't have to like sell, you don't have to stop being who you are or sell out, because there's plenty of people out there that are going to appreciate you and appreciate your art. And yeah, like you might get lucky, you might just become like super wealthy and rich, and like that's amazing. But you also might just be able to get to a point where like you could quit your day job and you can be a full-time artist, and you can still raise a family and have a home and have a living, and and then go on to inspire other people. So again, thanks for the opportunity. I'm really excited about the drop. I hope that people are too. Obviously join our Discord if you haven't. It's been like a really fun space. There's already like just even a whole community of like Mishka people. And so, that's been fun. I also would love to get a drink in Miami. I actually had like 2 sips of a beer before the call, and so I thought maybe I had some like spiked drink, and that's why you guys were talking all slow. I just realized it was my. Yeah, I don't know, Mike. Did you want to say anything?
No, I mean I've heard at least 2 of you guys refer to me as humble, and so shilling does not come naturally. But yeah, it's like go to the Discord. Really, it's like go there. It's like we have everything, all the info about the projects there, and it's like Greg said, like it's a fun space. Like the people there are cool, and it's fun to be on this side of things and just being able to engage with the community directly. Which
we also have a great team that's moderating it right now. So as we're learning the space and we're learning kind of like how to curate and make sure that we understand it, like we have an amazing team that love the NFT community, that want to take what we're doing and make sure that everything we say that we're doing, we're following through on, and that, you know, we're accountable for everything that we do. And, you know, obviously it's like we're transparent. And so, you know, I just want to also give a shout out to, you know, the network team, which have been awesome. And, you know, the guys from Minotaur that have been helping us on the back end with the Discord. But yeah, it's really exciting. I'm so happy that you guys had us, and I'm really, you know, I really want to make a splash, and I want people to know that, you know, obviously, like, that we're serious, and that this is like, you know, we're thinking like long term, and, you know, and I can't wait to announce the other artists that we have involved, and I think everyone's going to be really excited, and I think also it's going to be a great investment if that's what you're going to be buying it for.
Hell yes.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. All right, so let me rapid fire with some ending KPIs for the folks watching. All right, number of mints. How many?
10,000.
All right, so you guys said 6 of them are going to be one of ones?
Yes.
Right. All right, and the mint is when?
The whitelist will be December 15th. The public mint will be December 16th.
Okay, 16th. And how do you get on the whitelist?
Just go to the Discord. There's a few ways to do it. There's been some contests. You could like level up. We've done some community collaborations where, like, you know, if you're part of certain, like, you know, boss, you know, the current one we're doing is like Boss Logic. We did one with like the Smiles community, you know, Buff Monsters community. So if you're part of certain communities, we're hopefully going to be announcing some other communities that you can get whitelisted on. But you know, the basic way is go to Discord, just be active, play some games, do some memes, just like have fun, and you'll get on the whitelist.
Awesome. What chain are you guys minting on? Is it Ethereum or another chain?
Ethereum. Ethereum, yeah.
Okay, mint price is not set yet. Y'all still working that?
Yet.
Okay.
Yes.
What others? What else?
We're gonna have to get some NFT
utility.
Culture whitelists.
Yes,
Utility. Let's go to utility.
Utility for the tokens. Badass art. Anything else to recap on the utility side?
Badass art. Exclusive hat and pin right away. Lifetime discount. There's a breakdown. I think it's, you know, 5% just for getting one. If you're a holder, you get like 20% for life. Then it's also gonna, obviously, like, there's other things that we haven't exactly announced, but there's gonna be, you know, there'll be special airdrops, there'll be exclusive merch, and am I missing anything, Mike?
No, I think that's it. As far as things we've like openly discussed and put out there.
They also have Roadmap 2.0 that they're not telling us about yet.
Yeah,
that's true.
Of course,
we were hoping
keep some
things.
We gotta keep some things a secret.
Guys, awesome,
You know
awesome project. Super excited.
Awesome. All right,
I'm
cool.
so thankful that y'all
excited
came
to
on.
see you guys.
Hell yes.
Thank you guys.
thanks for having us.
All right.
All right, hey, follow us on Discord, like, subscribe, do all the things. Roadmap 2.0 is getting people excited. Everyone have a good one. Stay safe out there. Bye, everybody.